So I promised to do a update on the fitness video I did last night, because I wanted to do that video just to show that even though I do like to exercise, how I battle with it myself to get some done each week. And I was only going to do 5 minutes last night, and I actually did another 7 minutes workout. So, and I did feel so much better for doing that. And sometimes I have to trick myself into doing some. So I will say I only do it 5 minutes, and actually I will still set my timer on my phone for 7 minutes to work out, and that's what I did yesterday. And that's how, you can still get some done. I was on the verge of just wanting to go to bed, but I thought, no, I'm going to get that workout done, and I did. So sometimes you do have to be not tough on yourself, but you just need to push yourself sometimes. And it's, fighting with the inner critic, the lazy girl that's in me, because I can be very lazy at times, and with the the determined person, the determined voice of, no, you will do some tonight. And I did feel better for it. So from learning from that yesterday is that, from when there were days when I would do a 7-hour shift and not wanting to go to the gym, but I knew, because I paid that money. For me, I'm that sort of person, is when I pay for something like a gym membership, I want to get my money's worth from it. I've always been like that, and that's how I've always done my work, is that I like to earn the money that I'm making, not just to sit around. I mean, I will tell you the truth, sometimes working in a call centre could be very boring, especially with no calls or chats or emails coming through. So, and I did spend some time researching if there was a new products that come out, if there was a special promotion that we need to be aware of. I would, sort of spend time, updating what I needed to learn in order to, answer customers' queries. But then there's only so much you can go through, so I would either read a book whilst I waited, or would watch YouTube. And it's kind of how I discovered YouTube, actually. I was working at a contact centre, and it wasn't that I didn't want to work, it's just there was sometimes not much work to be done, because we working at a content centre, you would find that there are busy spells within that type of work. So for example, when I worked worked at a contact centre where I had to give technical advice, and of course no calls coming in, it would either we go home early and not get paid for the full day, or stretch the day out, and and I hated just sitting there doing nothing, so I would make the most of the time, and you find that there's when I worked for I worked for a manufacturing company. That's who I was representing, and the busiest times was Christmas time, because that's when everybody would receive Christmas gifts, and summertime not so much, because summertime not many people would be out enjoying the sunshine, so they wouldn't be ringing in for technical support, because they'd all be out most of the time. When there was a World Cup on, you'd find that it would quieten down, because everybody would be focusing on watching the football, but you would get the odd call from someone who says that I want to watch the football tonight, but I'm on problems with my telly, so that's the kind of calls that we would get, but we wouldn't be streaming with phone calls coming in. because I worked in an inbound call centre, not an outbound call centre, and those two are different genres. When you're doing if you work within an outbound contact centre, then you're making calls, and you make calls throughout the day, and there's no gaps in between. When you work in an inbound call centre, it's slightly differently, because you're waiting for calls to come in or emails or chat, so you have a chunk of time that would be free to do whatever you wanted. But if there was clients coming in to visit the contact centre, then we would have to find something in terms of work, what to do. So I would then go over anything that I wasn't sure of. I would spend time creating templates when I worked on the email team. Not so much because when you're a customer, you can tell the difference between somebody that has spent time personally writing that email to somebody that has sent out a template. But it is also good to, if you work in an email setting and you send out emails, it is good to quicken the time to send out that email. And so what I would do is I would do like an example of a response, because you get used to the regular common questions that would come in by customers, and so or I would do like my own version of how to do something, because I find instruction manuals to be very scattered sometimes with the information, or it's not always straightforward. So I would then write my own version, the simple way of doing something. So I spend that time. But when we had no clients coming in, and when we would be sitting there, waiting for chats and emails to come through, because some days I would have all the emails done with so the earliest time I would start would often be around about 7 in the morning, or sometimes even 6, but I was normally get there for 7 in the morning and work till to about 4 or 5 o'clock. But within that time it'd be quiet, so I would have the emails done by say about 10 o'clock that day. So I would then be free. I'll be left free to just take chats coming in, and that is a good way of doing it. But you find that there is quiet spells, and you find that you get used to the busy calls, and so so some days I would do like a day from like 7 to 5, and I would get into the mindset, I can't be bothered to go to work out in the gym today, because I'll be tired. And when I work, I like to earn my money, if you know what I mean. And that's the same with everything. I like to earn my keep. I do find it sometimes hard to keep motivated when there was no work to be done, but I would try and keep myself busy by reading a book or watching YouTube, because it wasn't out there, as long as we didn't watch anything offensive. And actually sometimes customers would take it upon themselves to show or for us to see of how to use a certain electric razor, for example. So it was good for research in terms of that. So I used to watch YouTube or read a book to keep myself busy. But it would get to the point where by then I couldn't be bothered to go to the gym. But I thought, no, I've paid my money to use the gym, so I'm going to bloody use it. And I also just go in, and even if you just do 20 minutes, at least you've done something. So I would, and I would actually be in there for about an hour and a half or 2 hours in the end. So sometimes you have to trick yourself into just doing something in terms of workout. So that could be just going for a walk, and just walking through the park, and then you find that you want to walk some more. When you do fitness, for me, if I give myself so much to do, that's what puts me off. But if I do gradual workouts each day, or I'm doing it sort of alternating between 3 times a week and 2 days a week at the minute. Then I find I do some without putting so much pressure on myself, because you don't have to do a 30-minute workout all the time. You can shorten it down to between 5 to an hour session. But it depends on the workout. If you do Pilates, and Pilates is very good for balance, so stability, stamina, which is also to do balance. It's good for resistance training, and it's good for making your bones and your joints and your nervous system flexible, and it is good for the well-being. But sometimes you have to lower the workout to do a bigger, longer workout. So I would be like, what, just so my aim was to go 3 times a week, and some weeks I ended up doing 4 times a week. So you do find a way of getting fitness done, and that's what I always remind myself when I don't feel like doing any, to trick myself into saying, well, I'll only do 5 minutes, and I still did 7. So that in itself, and from working at the past, I know I can get it done. It's just I sometimes have to lower how much I want to do more, just so I trick myself and thinking I'm doing this, but actually I can still do a 7-minute workout, and that's what I did last night. So going on from that, I did feel much better afterwards. I didn't have that guilt of, you should have done some, why didn't you do any? You had plenty of time to do some, and it eases that voice from shouting at you, and you find that once you get into a routine when it comes to fitness, that you can still do it and fit it in. Obviously, if you're a parent, lots of things crop up, like if you get a call from school that your child's not well, then obviously that becomes priority. But if you're going to fit it in the evenings after your child's gone to bed, then that's still something, even if it's for 5 minutes. And just treat yourself like I do. So I'll only do like 4 exercises, and then you'll find that as you get to the 3rd one, actually you can do an extra 2, for example. So so following on from last night, I'm glad I did some. I'm glad it did give me a boost of energy, and I did feel more awake, but I felt like I didn't waste the day by not doing any, and that's what gives me a sense of purpose of exercising. And I hope that these videos can help you. I mean, I was surprised with the response I've got through these videos, because I don't do these videos expecting people to watch it, but I do have that hope. I hope somebody does watch it and they do find it helpful, So thanks for watching and for giving me your support so far. I hope that your fitness regime is going okay. Don't beat yourself up over it. If you do get weeks where you just feel shattered, because we all feel like that at times, and that's your body saying you're too tired, do it when your body's more awake, and it's getting the benefit out of it. And if you're doing it when you're tired and you don't feel the benefit afterwards, then it means that you need to stop, take a break, and then come back to it when you are going to feel good, when you've done some exercise. So yeah, so anyway, thank you for watching, and then my next video is going to be a live collection video, and then I'm going to do a film for my midnight chat video for tonight, and then I've got my Monday morning video to do for my Monday weekly post, which is on everyonecanbuildacastle.com. And thanks for watching. Take care.